Welcome to Hot Topics. Delighted to be talking with Andy today about our upcoming webinar. And that webinar is going to take place on the 25th of August at 7 p.m. So get that in your diary and we'll share a little bit more now about what we're going to be talking about. So Andy, we're going to be focused around vision, aren't we?
Yeah, Phil. And I think we're starting with it's great that our webinar series is back, and we've been putting a lot of effort in behind the scenes, trying to deliver the best content we can and to move forward and to help as many therapy business owners as we possibly can make more informed decisions on their business. It almost makes sense for us to start with vision, because it's the one question we always kind of ask when we start with everybody is, well, what is it you want? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want to, where you want to go? And I always relate.
And it always feels like a really big question, doesn't it? It almost comes across as almost like a philosophical question that you have to go and kind of, I don't know, sit in a quiet corner, cross-legged, and kind of go into a mindful state. And it's, for us, it's not like that at all. Our focus is going to be very much on putting it into practice, isn't it? What is it? And then let's get on with how you deliver it. But I think the purpose of our conversation today is just kind of share a bit more about what we think that vision's about and how to put it into practice.
Certainly. And, I'll relate back to some seminars I've done recently on therapy business owners. And when we talk about vision, we always say as therapists, they are vision setters, because it's what we do, isn't it?
Yeah.
A customer comes in, a client, a patient comes in. And the first thing we do is we ask them, well, what do you want your world to look like when the problem no longer exists? So we help set a vision. But then when it comes to ourselves, doesn't it? When we're our own businesses, like you said there, for a lot of people, they go, oh God, this could be really scary. Well, it's almost just, in my opinion, asking yourself that question. And that's the key factor, isn't it? And I know it's a bit more than that. And it can be more than that.
Well, it isn't. It kind of isn't. It isn't it? Because I think we're all faced with the prospect of being busy in life and busy in work. And it's very easy to get to the point where we turn up at work, wherever our work is. And in the world that we're talking about now, we're talking about a clinic or a gym, certainly a generic treatment room of some description where we're going to have that conversation. But it's very easy to fall into, well, I've got 10 appointments today. So it becomes a bit more like a factory, where people are just kind of coming through the treatment room on a conveyor belt. And if we're not careful, that becomes the business. That's what the job is. And we're so busy on the conveyor belt that we don't, as you so rightly say, we don't ask ourselves, hang on a minute, what's this all about? What are we trying to achieve? And it's really important actually to be able to step back for a moment and think, what is it that I'm doing? What is it that I want from my business? What is it that I want from my life? And how do I connect that all up to make the best sense?
Now, I think it's and I think, in my opinion, most people will be able to answer that question or carry it around in their head, don't they? They've got a sense of what they want it to be. And then it's maybe sometimes having the confidence to actually write it down, because, we would always encourage people to try and dream big. But then again, people struggle to do that. Is that a fair thing? Because of what happens if it doesn't? What happens if it don't make it there?
Well, I think that's the really important bit, because typically in life we kind of think, oh, well, if we say something out loud, I put it in sat nav terms, if we jump into our car, we're going to go, okay, today I'm going to Edinburgh. Yeah, but what if I don't make it to Edinburgh? And if I've got people in the car and I've told people in the car we're going to go to Edinburgh and we don't get to Edinburgh today, I'm shamed, I'm embarrassed, I've let myself down, I've let the team down. So it's better just jump in the car and drive anywhere, and wherever we turn up we'll be okay, which is a bit like the conveyor belt philosophy. You kind of think, no, it's okay, because having a vision, having clear direction, writing it down, sharing it with people, doesn't make it a fixed view, because life is dynamic, just in the same as I would understand in your treatment room. What happens between one session and another will completely change how you might, as a therapist, react to the client that you're working with on session 2 or session 3.
Correct.
And all we're saying really is that's exactly the same for your vision and your business.
Yeah. No, and I think in our opinion, how we try and make it less scary for people who are new to this and setting this out is it is like that, isn't it? It's like a rehabilitation journey, that you set a goal of what you think it's going to be in a time frame that you think is realistic. And then you recognize that not everything goes to plan. So you've got to be, and outcomes change, visions change, especially as you grow and develop. We've seen it ourselves, haven't we? Where we get somebody coming in, we do a session and they go back and they go, well, I reckon I can see this many customers. And then all of a sudden, as they start to fill that clinic up, they go, actually, this was easy to it. I need to think even bigger, don't you? Yeah, we knew that, but you've got to find that time of when you feel confident in your self-belief space, Yeah. And again, it's thinking, I had a really interesting conversation around this the other day with somebody. And it was just the whole fact of, okay, so you want it to look like this. What's the, I can't do that all on my own. I went, okay, so what solution? Really don't know. Could you recruit somebody? Oh yeah, actually, that's the most obvious answer. It is, although it's, and then for me, when we think about vision, and I know this is a big point that you raise a lot, but I'm going to steal it for the point of the listeners for today, is that, so if that's all your ideas and all your plans are in your head and you don't write it down, you don't articulate it with other people, how on earth do people know what to follow? If you want to grow and you're quite ambitious, and we do this ourselves, you want to take it to get somebody else to write some content, or you're going to try and doing marketing, you've got to be able to articulate what it is you're looking to achieve with your business so other people can be on the same page as you.
So I suppose I'd flip it back as the non-therapist in the conversation. So, if somebody's got some kind of strain and you want to support them with their understanding and their rehab, then you're going to demonstrate the process by which you want them to exercise or to help their recovery. And I know I've seen you do this in practice because you've given me a bit of help from time to time. So it either becomes, some people will do it, well, here's a video on how to do it. It might be, here's a practical demonstration of me doing it. Now you do it so that I can see you to make sure you do it properly. And any combination of the two. And that's exactly the same thing that you would do with your vision. If you articulate it, share it, kind of demonstrate it, which for me also means kind of thinking about your core values and how you live, how you work, how you behave, that becomes really important. So the parallel between the treatment room and running a successful business, for me, has always been a really close affiliation in terms of helping therapists to understand, actually debunking the business jargon and putting it more into clinical jargon, if you like, so that people feel a lot more comfortable about what we're asking them to do, in the same way a therapist would debunk the clinical speak into everyday language for a runner to understand what it was they've got to do to recover effectively and how they would do it.
Well, that's why I actually use your idea to call our podcast the treatment room, wasn't it? And the fact of it's a place where you can come, and it's the same analogy, isn't it? And so I think it's really important that, people take the time to do it. And like you've said, it doesn't have to be a huge time consuming process. And, a little plug to our webinar that's coming up you know, we're going to be, our aim is to kind of during our webinars to help you understand that why it's important. You know, we'll certainly be sharing our vision of what we believe and we want for the EYC and our EYC Academy, which is important. We've managed to coerce a good friend of EYC, Mr. Jack Chew, to come and join us, because, you know, what we see with Jack and what's interesting, I won't take all of his story because I'm sure, as you all know, he loves to tell a story and loves to talk. So, you know, we'll let him tell it. But, you know, he had a vision of trying to help people that he'd never, ever meet. So his idea was, can he help people with their MSK education he'd never meet? And he did that via his podcast, and then has gone on to do it with Therapy Live, and then the Chewing It Over, and then the MSK Reform, which he worked with some other people on trying to reform MSK practice.
Yeah.
And it shows, doesn't it, when you set your benchmarks or your visions quite high, what you can achieve. I would also say, if you ever take the time, both me and you are quite avid readers, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are especially interested in business, that you pick up, you know, maybe an autobiography, or you read some success book of some kind, and they're constantly talking about, you know, writing down your goals or writing down what it is you're looking to achieve. And then it's breaking that down into steps of how do you then get there. And I think that's the key thing, isn't it? You know, if you set yourself a big goal, you don't have to achieve that tomorrow.
Yeah. No, and that's why you're right in terms of the upcoming webinar. We've called it putting your vision into practice, because actually understanding what it is and being able to articulate that and then to deliver it, which is why we're really interested to talk more to Jack, because for me it's about having a vision, but then importantly how you go about putting it into practice, in practice. So with our reveal in the webinar, a little bit more about what our long-term vision is, and why you and I are together, and why we're working on elevating not clinical practice, but working alongside your clinical practice to develop your business practice becomes really important. And to hear how that can be done on a macro scale in the way that Jack is trying to achieve, actually we hope gives some concrete examples of what we're about and what he's trying to achieve, and how we're engaging with our audience to enable that. So that's our upcoming free webinar on the 25th of August at 7 p.m. You can find us on Eventbrite. You can find the link in Instagram, and if you keep your eye on social media over the next 2 or 3 weeks, you'll find plenty of opportunity to come and join us. And we really hope you do, because we're looking forward to taking some questions in chat on the night and opening up that conversation.
No, certainly. And I think that's the exciting thing, isn't it? I think putting it into practice, you know, my point I would always come to with this as well, especially if you have a team already, or you're looking to grow a team and develop a team. A team often wants focus and direction. You know, we talk an awful lot about recruitment and the problems in recruitment and retention. If you've got a strong vision and you've got a strong kind of goal of what you want your business to be, and that's exciting, people will join you on that. People will want to be a part
absolutely.
of that challenge, won't they? People want to come on that journey with you. So I would really kind of, if I can do so, challenge people that haven't got something articulated down, but are having problems with their team. Just have a little think about, would you follow you? Would you go on a journey with you if you didn't know where you were going? Certainly, if I was, you know, we know in clients wouldn't come on a journey with you or retain or stay with you on a treatment pathway if they didn't really, if they were just saying, oh, right, we'll see how it goes and we'll come back next week. We'll see how it goes and come back next week. They'd be a bit fed up. So, you know, we can apply this into our own team, can't we? And hoping that, you know,
Absolutely.
if our team want to go on a journey, then what is the journey for them, and how are you going to get them excited enough to keep following you?
Yeah, absolutely right. And actually understanding what's going on within the industry, or what influences within the industry are trying to do, can also give individual business owners some kind of sense of, oh, I'm not alone in my thinking or my challenges. And actually that in and of itself can be really important. And I know that we're in the one-to-one work that we do as part of our offer to therapy business owners, we spend quite a bit of time actually talking about the wider context of the individual and their business and their locality, and then the role of therapy in helping people to live good lives. And I know that's quite a parallel with the work that Jack is influencing. So hopefully that's given everybody a bit of a taster then of the upcoming webinar. So I think Andy will leave with a final plug, which is just a reminder that it's on the 25th of August, 7 p.m. You're going to be able to, at the moment, get access to it by looking on our Eventbrite site, which is Elevate Your Clinic. If you're following us on Instagram, if you have a look in the bio and the link tree there, you can get access to the connection to the webinar. And otherwise, look out for social media posts that are going to be coming. I know Andy's we just put a blog out this week, which you were referring to earlier on.
Yeah.
So take a look at that if you've not already seen it.
And I Academy members, that will also be for you. So if you're already in our Academy, then it'll be streamed live in there as well. The last thing I'm going to say is, if any of you know that any of your friends you think would benefit this, please, both me and Phil are on a mission to try and help and support as many people as we can. So if you think this would be beneficial to any of your friends or colleagues, then please do share this, share the podcast, share the link, and let's really try and help support as many of our friends as we can grow their therapy businesses.
Fantastic. So 25th of August, 7 o'clock, putting your vision into practice.
Yeah.
See you there. Take care.